Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. In this, we are discussing about the chapter periodic classification. In this session, we are going to see about modern periodic table, which is also called long form of periodic table. Okay, or it also said to be Moseley's periodic table. About this, we are going to see now. This is a periodic table which we often see in our classrooms and your schools. That is a modern periodic table. Let us see about that. After the discovery of atomic number, the periodic law was modified, and the new law was proposed by the British chemist Henry Moseley in 1994. Yes, before him, they have given the atomic law based upon the atomic weights of the elements, atomic masses of the elements. But by taking the atomic mass as the uh, prior one, they have identified some drawbacks in the classification, some limitations in the classification. So to overcome that, Henry Moseley identified that this atomic number is being most suitable one for classification of elements. So if you segregate the elements based upon their atomic number and electron configuration, the classification is much clear and convenient. In that way, mostly by taking atomic number into consideration, he tried to classify the elements and he prepared periodic table which we are calling as modern periodic table. This law is based on the atomic numbers in place of atomic masses of the elements. Yes, till Mendeleev. Mendeleev and the earlier scientists, they have taken atomic mass as a base for classification or segregation of elements into different groups and batches. But for the first time, Moseley had chosen the atomic number for the classification of elements. After the change in the periodic law, many changes were suggested in the periodic table. Yes, when the periodic law was changed, many changes were happened in the periodic table. So what was the earlier periodic law? The physical and chemical properties of the elements are periodic function of their atomic masses. That means when elements are written in increasing order of their atomic masses, properties are being repeated from one element to another element. It was the periodic law given based upon that earlier elements were classified by the Mendeleev till the Mendeleev. But later on, Moseley he modified that. In place of atomic mass, he chosen atomic number as a basis. So then, based upon that, he has given the periodic law, and based upon that, he tried to classify elements. When the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic mass numbers, instead of atomic mass, here he has chosen atomic number, and he wrote all the available elements in the increasing order of their atomic numbers. Then most of the defects of Mendeleev's classification get rectified. So by this, most of the drawbacks which were there in the Mendeleev's periodic table were rectified. For example, if you see the position of hydrogen, where Mendeleev's periodic table was failed or has some defect in this placement of hydrogen, because he was in confusion to place this hydrogen either along with the first group elements or along with the seventh group elements. So in that way, he proposed two places for hydrogen, that we can say as one of the drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table, isn't it? Yes. So, but by taking the atomic number as a basis for classification, this confusion no more existing, because as per its atomic number and electronic configuration, this hydrogen will get only one position, that is along with the first group elements. Not only that, one more point also you can say, where this modern periodic law given clarification in the defects of Mendeleev's table. One more, it is the placement of isotopes, where Mendeleev's table was failed to provide the places for all the isotopes of an element. For example, if we take hydrogen, carbon or hydrogen, let us take hydrogen itself. If we take hydrogen, it has three isotopes. isn't it? We know protium, deuterium, and tritium are the isotopes of hydrogen because they have three different mass numbers. According to Mendeleev, as they have different mass numbers, they should be provided three places. But for each element, only one place was provided in the Mendeleev's table. That is one drawback. If you take in the same way carbon, carbon also has three isotopes. But for carbon completely, only one place was provided in the Mendeleev's periodic table. But for the remaining two isotopes, no placement. But now, if the atomic number is taken as a basis, then no more confusion there because for carbon, only one atomic number is existing even though it has three isotopes. Three isotopes will be having same atomic number, isn't it? That is the definition of isotopes actually. The atoms the same atomic number but different mass numbers are called isotopes. So as all the isotopes of carbon have same atomic number, all are provided only one place. So there will be no confusion further because as atomic number is single, its position also will be single at certain place. In this way, most of the drawbacks or defects in the Mendeleev's periodic classification were rectified by this modern periodic law by Moseley. Okay. Now, what is a modern periodic law? How it is modified from the Mendeleev's periodic law? It is the chemical and physical properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic number. In the earlier periodic law, that is in the Mendeleev's periodic law, what it is being there in the place of atomic numbers, it was taken atomic mass. That was given like this. The properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. But here it is modified like atomic numbers. That means when elements are written in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, the properties are being repeated from one element to another element. So those elements which are getting the same properties are kept one down to another and hence periodic table is created. Okay, the chemical and physical properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. Of course, in this periodic table designation, they have considered atomic number as well as electronic configurations of the elements. The elements which are getting similar valence configuration are arranged in one column. They were called groups. Okay. Now, the modern periodic table is constructed based on this Ebola. Yes, based upon the modern periodic law, the long form periodic table is constructed. Cause of periodicity. Why they are getting the repetition in the properties from one element to other element? It is due to the repetition of the similar outer cell electron configuration at a certain regular intervals. Yes, this is the main reason to get the same kind of chemical properties between the elements. We are telling in the modern periodic law when elements are written in the increasing order of their atomic numbers. Elements are getting the similar chemical properties at regular intervals. For example, if we take lithium, lithium is having similar chemical properties with sodium. So why they are getting similar chemical properties? If it is observed clearly, their electronic configurations in the valence shells being the same. For example, if we take lithium, we know atomic number of lithium as 3 and its configuration will be 1s2, 2s2 as we know, isn't it? 2s1. This is the electron configuration. Now, for the valence electron configuration of lithium is 2s1. If we take one more element, lithium in the first column, its atomic number is 11 and its configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So what is valence electron configuration for sodium now? 3s1. In the same way, it will be there one more element in the same column, potassium. For this also, last electron configuration will be valence configuration 4s1. What it is observed in these all common, they are all having same kind of valence shell configuration, that is s1 s1 s1, isn't it? So because of this same kind of similar valence electronic configuration, these all elements will participate in the chemical reactions in the same manner. That is, they show same chemical properties. So in that way, there is much clarity in this classification because it is based upon the atomic number as well as valence shell electronic configuration. These 2 points were taken into consideration while classifying elements. First, they have written all the elements in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, and they have observed electronic configurations also. The elements the same valence electronic configuration observed, they all kept in one column. Again, it is continued to write in the increasing order of atomic numbers. In that way, they have constructed this modern periodic table. By this, most of the limitations or drawbacks faced in the Mendeleev's table were rectified. Okay, see, this is a modern periodic table. It is also called long form of periodic table or Mosley's periodic table. Observe here, totally there will be 18 columns. If you count from here, from the left to right totally, there will be 18 columns and 7 horizontal rows. These vertical columns are called as groups. Suppose if I say this first one, this is a group. It is called first group. If you say any one of these, if you say this is one group, this is also first group. Actually, it is first A group, first B group. So there are totally 18 vertical columns. All these vertical columns mainly classified into 8 groups, 1 to 8 groups. Each group again divided into two subgroups A and B. That is why here we observe first A and this is first B. If we see this is second A and this is second B, and it is third A and it is third B. In this way, each group is subdivided into two subgroups A and B subgroups. So in this way, there are totally 18 vertical columns. That total 18 vertical columns classified into 8 main groups. Each group is subdivided into two subgroups A and B. And here, each horizontal row, each horizontal row is considered as one period. Each horizontal row is called period. If we count like this, there are totally 7 periods in this periodic table. So 7 periods and 8 groups. Okay, or we can say with the subgroups if we count totally 16 groups because each group is subdivided into two subgroups A and B. Whatever it is all, we can say this modern periodic table contains 7 periods and 18 columns or 8 groups or 16 groups also will be correct. Okay, and you might have observed here these three columns. These three columns are considered as one group, that is 8th B group or 8th group it is simply called. Okay, 8th B group. 8th, 9th, 10th columns all together considered as 8th B group. That is why there are totally 16 groups only. Out of 18 columns, totally there are 16 groups because these three columns all together considered as one group. Now, actually in this place, total there should be 14 elements. As they have written 14 elements in this place, this periodic table becomes very lengthy. This total part will come out of completion of the 14 elements. So first two columns and here 14 elements, and then these columns will be continued there. So if these are written here, this periodic table becomes very lengthy. That is why it is also called long form of periodic table. So to make this convenient in writing, they kept these 14 elements separately at the bottom in one horizontal row. Those elements are called lanthanoids. And in this place also, there should be 14 elements. Those 14 elements also kept in the separate column. They're called actinoids. So this is a modern periodic table which consists of 8 groups and 7 periods. These vertical columns are classified as groups. Horizontal rows are considered as periods. Okay. Now let us see based upon these some points. the main features of this modern periodic table. In the long form of periodic table, there are 18 vertical columns called groups and 7 horizontal rows which are called as periods. Elements present in group 1 and group 2 on the left side and group 13 to 17 on the right side of the periodic table are called as normal elements or representative elements. Yes, we have seen in the modern periodic table first two columns and last six columns is altogether considered as normal elements or representative elements, which we are going to see later once again. Now in the periods, elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic numbers. Yes, in each period elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic numbers. Okay, the first period is the shortest period of all the periods and contains only two elements in it. They are hydrogen and helium. Yes, out of all the periods, as we told, there are seven periods in the modern periodic table. Out of these all, the first period is the shortest period. It contains only two elements, hydrogen and helium only. That is why it is called shortest period. And next, second and third periods, they contain eight elements in each. So these periods are called short periods. Next, fourth and fifth periods, they contain 18 elements in each. So they are called long periods. Okay. If you see sixth period and seventh period, they contain 18 elements in the periodic table and 14 elements are kept separate down there. These all together are considered as together you can say 32 elements in the sixth and seventh periods. So they are called longest periods. Actually, it is given here old one incomplete. It is mentioned, but actually the seventh period also nowadays it is completely filled with the newly discovered elements, isn't it? So sixth and seventh periods they contain both 32 elements in each. So they are called longest periods in the modern periodic table. So if the 32 elements are written in the same horizontal row, it becomes inconvenient for studying because it will be very lengthy. That is why to make it convenient, 14 elements from that place are written down from those two columns, from that column, from the third column. So those two horizontal rows are written down. Now it became say 18 columns periodic table. Now we can say first period is the shortest, second and third periods are short periods, fourth and fifth periods are long periods, and sixth and seventh periods are longest periods. Got it? Now let us see some special names given for the groups and periods in the modern periodic table. Yes, based upon the properties and the features or characters of the elements present in a group, they are given certain common names or special names. Let us see those. Okay. First, if you say alkali metals, so the elements present in this column, they are except hydrogen, the elements present in the first column, they are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These six elements present in the first column are known as alkali metals because they form alkalis. What does it mean by alkalis here? The elements which form bases which are soluble into water are called alkalis. So the bases which are soluble into water are called alkalis. These first group elements except hydrogen, that is 1A group elements except hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. These can form bases which are soluble into water. So these elements are called alkali metals. Okay. Alkali metals are very reactive. Yes, these alkali metals are highly reactive metals that do not occur freely in the nature. That is why, because of its high reactivity, these elements they do not occur in the free state. Almost all these elements are available in the earth crust in the combined form only. From the nature, they are available in the combined state only. Alkali metals are soft and good conductors of heat and electricity. Yes, these also exhibit most of the properties of metals, but they are not much harder. They are soft metals. Even these metals can be cut with a knife also. They seems like soap. That much soft they are. But the remaining properties are being same. They can conduct electricity. They lose electrons. They show metallic properties all. Okay. Next, second group. Second name is alkaline earth metals. First, we have seen the first group elements except hydrogen are called alkali metals. Now, if you see this second group or second column in the modern periodic table, they are beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. These group elements are called alkali metals. The six elements present in the second column or second A group of the modern periodic table are named as alkaline earth metals because the oxides and hydroxide formed by these metals are strongly alkaline in nature, and these metal oxides are found in the earth crust. That is why these are called alkaline earth metals. So these metals present in the second column, these six metals also, they also form alkalis. What does mean alkalis? We told the bases which are soluble into water. So the second group elements also they form alkalis, and mostly these metals are available in the earth crust. So by taking these two features, these elements are considered as alkaline earth metals. Okay. Alkaline earth metals are very reactive. Just like the first group elements, these second group elements are also reactive elements. So these also do not occur freely in the nature and widely distributed in rock structure. So these are also available in the mineral form only. They won't be available in the free state as these secondary group elements are also more reactive just like the first group. Okay, this is about alkaline earth metals. Next, noble gases. So let us come to extreme right side of the modern periodic table. If you see extreme right side column that contains around 7 elements: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, and 118th element ammonium. So these elements are called noble gases because they do not participate in the chemical reactions. They will be always idle. They do not combine with other chemicals as well as they do not react themselves also. So they always exist in the atomic form only. That is why these gases are called noble gases. What are those? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These elements which are located in the 18th column or we can say 8th A group also. This group is specially called as zero group also are called as noble gases because they were thought to be completely inert, unable to form compounds. That's why they are called noble gases. Noble gases are very unreactive and exist as atomic gases. Yes, as we told, these noble gases they do not participate in the chemical reactions with other elements as well as themselves also. So they exist always in the atomic form, atomic gases. So that's why these are also called ideal gases and these exist in the atmosphere in the very rare quantity. So they're also called rare gases. And if you observe, all of these are gases. That is why these are also called aerogens. Okay, there are different names given for this 18th column or 8th A group or zero group elements. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These are called noble gases, ideal gases, rare gases are also called aerogens. Next, one more, halogens. This is last but two column, that is 17th column elements. These are called halogens. They are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. These elements present in the group 17 or 17th column or 7th A group elements are called commonly halogens. The meaning of halogens is salt farmers. Halogens means salt farmers. Most of the metal salts are existing in these forms: fluorides, chlorides, bromides, iodides. In this way, most of the metals in the earth crust available in the salt forms of these halides. That is why, based upon that region, these 7th A group elements or 17th column elements in the modern periodic table are considered as halogens. Because of their great reactivity, the free halogen elements are not found in the nature. Yes, these elements of 17th A group, 7th group elements are also highly reactive. These fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, these elements are also highly reactive. If they are highly reactive, they won't be available in the nature in the free state. They'll be always in the available in the combined state only. For example, if we take chlorine, we know chlorine is largely existing in the form sodium chloride, in the salt form. In the sea and dissolve, mostly it is existing in the form of sodium chloride. So there chlorine is available in the compound sodium chloride form. Because this chlorine is highly reactive, it won't exist in the free state in the nature. Not only that, almost these all 7th group elements, as they are highly reactive, they don't exist in the free state. Okay, next. The halogen group is the only periodic table group that contains elements in three of the main states of the matter at standard temperature and pressure. Yeah, it is one of the interesting point here. Out of all these 18 columns, this is the only column, or this is the only group which consists of elements in three different states. If you observe fluorine, fluorine is a gaseous element. Chlorine is also a gaseous element, greenish yellow colored gas it is. And if you see bromine, bromine is only non-metal which exists in the liquid state that we have studied in the lower classes, isn't it? Bromine is a liquid, gaseous, liquid non-metal, reddish brown liquid. And if you see these two, iodine and acetylene, these two are solids. So in the same group, there are elements existing in the three different states: gases, liquids, and solids. No other group contains like this. If there are all solids or all gases are existing, but no liquids and gases combination. If you see first group, it contains one gas here, that is hydrogen, but remaining all are solids. If we see one more column at the middle, it contains mercury, which is at liquid state, but the remaining all are solids. But no other group contains in this way, as halogens contain the elements of three different states. This is a specialty you can say for this halogens group. Okay. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today for latest updates and recorded videos. Thank you.